We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Hey, everybody. We made episode 30, Vikings Uncensored, episode 30.
I remember when I was 30.
I don't.
I think I did the same thing when episode 20.
When we hit 20, yeah, right. And I think I had the same answer too. But thanks, everybody, for sticking with us through this journey so far. It's been a great ride so far, and things are only going to get bigger and better around here. So hope you all stick around and
watch us evolve.
Bring more people in. You know,
I get to a better office.
Yeah, we need to get Lance better accommodations. So please bring in everybody else and everything, all that. But again, Vikings Uncensored sponsored again this week by our friends over at Boulder Tap House. Craft burgers, craft beer, and an atmosphere the whole family will love. So give those guys up there.
Somewhere.
Yep. Check those guys out if you got one near you. Awesome food and great friendly staff and everything over there. They're great. So we got one big nugget of news that
I wonder what this is.
Yeah. Dropped like an atomic bomb on Monday during Monday Night Football.
Too soon, dude. Too soon.
John Gruden is no longer employed by the Las Vegas Raiders after emails surfaced, which somehow or another they came out in an investigation against Bruce Allen and Dan Snyder with What the Football Team.
Wow.
But apparently Gruden had been sending tons and tons of emails that were not only calling NFLPA president DeMaurice Smith derogatory names. He was also calling Commissioner Roger Goodell homophobic slurs and things of that nature. So
jeez, shame, Johnny boy.
Gruden really stepped in it and paid the price for it. Lloyd Christmas came into Las Vegas headquarters on Monday and found Gruden. Christmas. Well, look at his hair. I mean, the guy's as much money as the guy's got. You think he could at least go to Cost Cutters and get a decent haircut. But beside the point,
Davis, though, look at the family.
Yeah, but I mean, Al at least had decent hair for back in the day. I mean, this looks like he cut it himself with a salad bowl.
Al's hair got crazy towards the later years.
Well, Al was crazy, but that's
he was.
But
the hair fits the person,
right? So anyway, he had a meeting with Gruden on Monday, and Gruden resigned.
Yeah.
We're not going to
resign, or we're going to fire your ass.
Yeah, we're not going to get into the details of all the emails and stuff because that's a rabbit hole we don't want to really get into around here.
No, why even put ourselves in that position anyways?
No, we just bring it up because it's big news. And just one more touch on this for those in Vikings world that are saying, let's go get John Gruden as our head coach.
I know, I've heard it.
No,
I didn't heard it.
That would be media suicide for any team right now. And Gruden's not that great of a coach, I don't think either.
No, he's decent.
Yeah, but we've got basically decent right now. We need something better than that.
Yeah.
So, but before we go down that rabbit hole, we're going to move on. We're going to continue.
Nothing to do with the Vikings. Let's continue.
Right. It just bared talking about because it's
right.
the big news story of the week.
Yep.
So with that, we are going to move on to the ugly victory over the Detroit Lions last Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, I would have rather have. I don't know, man. It's a lot to take in. I don't feel like we won.
No, this should have been a get right game for this team, and it was almost a get fired game, right? Or for this game, or for this.
I
game.
honestly think if we lost the game, Zim would have lost his job. It would have been perfect time for it to all go down.
Yeah. I mean, like we mentioned before, there's really not anybody on staff that could take over unless you want to put Andre Patterson in there.
I think Patterson would be the man.
He's about the only option at this point.
But, but we won.
Yep.
So we continue on with what we have.
Yep. So first we'll move over to the offensive side of things. Justin Jefferson in the first half had over 100 yards receiving.
Yeah,
they couldn't stop him. And then when we roll into the second half,
and they make adjustments for him.
But it's Detroit.
Yeah.
They had no answer for Jefferson. He didn't get another target until, what was it, 4 minutes left in the third quarter, and he only had 2 catches in the second half.
It's a chess match, though. I mean, Gary's got to figure out ways to get Justin in the right spots.
Clint, not Gary.
Yeah, excuse me. He might as well be Gary, is what I'm saying.
But I don't think it was Kubiak, but we'll get into the cat when we talk.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Kirk, again, played a decent game, but when it came down to that 2-minute drive at the end of the game, and we needed to get down and kick and at least get a field goal in order to pull that game out of our ass, he was money on that last drive.
Yeah. Kirk has been a good quarterback this year.
Mm-hmm. So, a couple of bright
spots. As far as a
spots.
leader and making things happen, he's done it.
Yeah. Couple of bright spots there. Alexander Madison had over 100 yards rushing again in relief of Dalvin Cook. Had that critical fumble in the fourth quarter that, gave Detroit the ball down deep and allowed them to go score and then get the 2-point conversion to actually go ahead.
And he's not known for, fumbling like that. So you can't put a lot of that on him.
No, but in that point in the game where it was at, he was pushed. He was kind of doing
it. Battling for more yards.
He was doing an Adrian Peterson. He was trying to push for more than was there. At that point, you just got to go down.
Yep.
Because, we were in.
You learn, though.
Right. Chris Herndon, our tight end that we traded a 4th-round pick for, finally got his name mentioned a couple of times this week. Unfortunately, they were for critical penalties that called back big plays.
Yeah.
This whole thing, just like the Unique Ngakoue trade last year, reeks of a desperation move.
Big trade before.
And the Kari Vedvik trade the year before reeked of a desperation move. It was, oh crap, Irv Smith is done. We need to find a tight end. Now,
what do we do?
Word surfaced this week that we actually tried to go get Dallas Goedert from the Eagles, but apparently the asking price was too high or whatever. I haven't read really into it, and it wasn't really said, but I know
we should have just rolled with what we had on staff.
Well, that's what what we're doing right now. Anyway, Herndon has 0 catches.
Exactly. We should have just rolled with the punches.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of feeling like we needed to go out and get somebody. Oh my God, Irv Smith is gone. Let's go do something about it. Oh.
Right. We've got a couple of guys down in the practice squad that we could have called up that it would have made as much of an impact as Herndon has so far.
Like I said, you could have just kept Shane Zylstra around Davidson.
It
wouldn't have been any different.
Yeah, it wouldn't have. So there's that. Again, the offense completely went into a shell the second half. We now have 0 touchdowns in the second half since the Cincinnati game. 0.
Let's go this way. There we go. Oh, I don't know. We got 0.
None. Big freaking goose egg. That's not a goose egg.
It was something. It was circular.
Yeah. Good enough. But again, and we'll get back into this when the coaching comes around, but this all comes down to philosophy and game planning and not making adjustments at halftime or whatever the deal is going on here.
It's a chess match, like I said.
It is, but the Lions are not good, and they were decimated by injuries. I mean, they had cornerbacks that were hurt. Half of their offensive line was hurt.
We are good at making bad teams look good.
Yeah, we play down to our opponents, and that's what we did today. I mean, the only reason why we won this game this weekend was because the Detroit Lions did a better job of being the Detroit Lions than we did. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. It was disheartening the way we won that game.
I mean, a win
like I said, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, we said last week, good teams find a way to win games that they probably shouldn't have won. We did do that against Detroit, but I'm not going to raise the banner in US Bank Stadium for it right now because
at the end of the year, W is a W, and we'll look back on it. We won't think much of it, but the taste right now is not good.
Yeah. And I was having a discussion with somebody on Twitter after the game, and I said straight out, I said, this is probably the worst I've felt after a victory, and I don't know how long.
Yeah. Yeah. I said right away, this is nothing to be proud of.
No. And that was one of the things at the end of the game. We'll just touch on this briefly, and then we're not going to get into the whole deal about it, but that exchange between Cousins and Zimmer, when Kurt jumps up and gets in his face and whatever.
Yeah, right. What was that about? Was it his excitement, or was it?
Yeah, that's
something more.
That's what they're saying it is. I don't know, and I don't want to get into that either.
Right.
But
it's all speculation, anyways.
Right, but I mean, come on, guys! You just barely beat one of the worst teams in the league. It took a last-second field goal by Greg Joseph, who then got carried off the field on the team's shoulders, which again is a little bit overkill.
Dramatic.
Right. I mean, I'm fine with celebrating a win, but you guys acted like you just won the freaking Super Bowl. You beat Detroit
against the 1-4 team.
Yeah. So, I mean, we might want to, your way up. We like seeing that fire and stuff, but when you play as crappy as you did and just barely squeak it out, let's bring it down just a little. We need you down here. You're currently up here.
Right.
But with that, unless you've got anything else on the offense, we'll move over to the defensive side of things.
Kirk needs to be given the keys.
Yeah, he does. Let Kirk cook.
Yep. We need to be using Cook like the Rams used Falk back in 98, 99, whatever it was back then.
Back in the greatest show on.
That's how this offense is built to run like that Rams offense was.
But it's not. It's not coached like that though. But
no, it's not. It's almost on the other side of that spectrum.
Yep. So anyway, we'll move on to the defense here.
Yep.
Of course, the rumors of his demise were greatly exaggerated. Anthony Barr was actually alive, and he did play on Sunday for the first time in a year and a half.
Oh, I thought you were dead.
My death was greatly exaggerated. So
he had an okay game.
It wasn't spectacular. In the Baristas, or whatever you want to call them.
The Baristas.
We're out there, Barr's going to change everything. He's going to, you guys have no idea how important he is out there. I saw him getting run over quite a few times. He was out of position. And so some of it maybe was some rust, but
yeah, he made some tackles though too.
He did, but it wasn't nothing earth shattering or anything like that.
No.
I mean, it's defensive line, even with Michael Pierce out, played fairly well. We had 4 sacks. Everson Griffin had 2.
Goff is going to be sacked at the 34-yard line. Everson Griffin. Williams, bottom of your screen as a receiver. Goff in trouble. The ball's out. Scramble inside the 35, and it looks like the Vikings got there first. It's James Lynch.
Including a forced fumble that our boy James Lynch was out there and recovered.
Like I said, when Lynch is on the field, good things happen.
Yep. Daniil Hunter had one, and DJ Wanham had one rushing from the 3-tech spot.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm.
That was like straight to the quarterback. Didn't
Yep.
take long.
Then one other really nice play was that one-handed interception that Eric Kendricks had
today. Goff off the hands of Hawkinson and intercepted by Kendricks. Eric Kendricks brings it all the way back up across the 35-yard line.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
He just snapped it out of the air.
Kind of like what we seen at training camp, almost exactly.
Mm-hmm. But that was a really nice play. Patrick Peterson saw him a lot more this week. They were actually throwing at him, and he played a decent game. I was going to
say I've seen some effort out of Peterson this week.
Yeah, so and he was actually up. I saw him even on some run defense, making up in the tackles and stuff too.
He was getting his jersey dirty this week, so that was
we've called him out for that the last couple of weeks. It was nice to see him actually being out there. With that,
we're getting there. We're getting there.
We're getting there. We're coming to him. God. We're coming to him now. Now we'll roll over.
I figured
to the Mr. Hey, I'm not the worst cornerback in the league anymore.
I got my Johnson in your mouth.
Yeah, Bashad Breeland, who gave up a defensive pass interference. I think it was the second quarter. Or when was it?
That was the second quarter. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then when he did that, the crowd started booing him, and he's out there taunting the crowd and this, and everything else. No, dude, you're not endearing yourself to the fan base at all.
Right. We're the ones that write your fucking checks. So
right. And then he comes out after the game. Cam Dantzler got chewed out here a couple of weeks ago for tweeting after we beat Seattle.
Right, right. Yeah. No shit. This pisses me off.
Now Breeland comes out there and he's like, you love the fact that you all got my Johnson in your mouths and this and everything else.
And then guess who supported him?
Yep. It was Zimmer. Zimmer was asked about it on Monday because I don't think it had been seen yet when Zimmer did his conference post game.
Right.
And he's like, well, he'll be talked to. But then he said, well, then, it wasn't directed towards the fans. It was,
of course he's going to say
he was offhanding it because, that it was directed toward Chris Thomas. And
yeah. And it wasn't even directed towards him. It was, you got to be an idiot to not know that's directed.
But there's this, Thomason last week straight out asked Breeland, if he was embarrassed the fact of being ranked, 107 out of 107 in cornerbacks or whatever. Well, and Breeland turns around. Well, I'm sure if they did a ranking about reporters, you'd be probably 101st out of 101 or whatever, blah, 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 blah.
So quick-witted, Breeland. Ugh.
Yeah, and then, Chris Thomason and Mike Zimmer have never seen eye to eye. That they go back and forth every time. So that, Zimmer throws
just
shade.
The fact that he will support Breeland for that, but Dantzler goes out and he's willing to get a job, and then he throws Dantzler under the bus is some bullshit.
Yeah, well, I think the biggest thing, I think Breeland endeared himself to Zimmer by Breeland snapping back at Thomason. I mean, they got this weird love triangle going on there. I think during the bye week, the three of them just need to go down to Zimmer Ranch in Kentucky for a couple of days and have it out and do it, do whatever they need to do to figure this stuff out.
Do whatever they do.
Yeah.
Like sand through the hourglass, so are the days of our lives.
I don't want to know what they do, but yeah,
Squid Game.
Yeah, and then not too long after, of course, Breeland took his tweet down, but it was screenshotted, passed around, and it's, as John Gruden found out, anything you put on the internet or online will be there forever.
It doesn't disappear.
No,
it doesn't just go away.
No. So, but to Breeland's defense, he is not the worst cornerback in the league anymore. There's now 113 qualified cornerbacks, and he's still 107. So there's 6 cornerbacks in the league that are worse than him now. So good job, Rashad. Keep it up.
Better.
Yeah. So, but other than that,
maybe by the end of the year, he'll be at like 50.
back in the 90s.
Back in the 90s. The decade or the actual order?
Either one.
Too legit to quit.
Yeah. No, you're not legit, Bashad. You just need to shut your mouth, go out and play. When you start playing better, then you can get cocky. But when you play as bad as you have, and you just finally have one game that's not putrid, that's nothing to go out there and get all cocky and arrogant over.
I'd like to see some of these corners get some fucking picks, man. Feels like our corners don't get picks very often.
Well, in Breland's side, he's always 10 yards off the receiver, so it's hard to get a pick.
Yeah.
And up until this week, they weren't throwing at Peterson all that much, but I don't think anybody other than our linebackers has an interception this year, do they?
No.
Not even Smith or New Day back there.
Oh, Woods.
Oh yeah, he's got
one.
Woods has got one. That's right. Yep. He had that one Seattle game.
Yep.
Or no, it was
on the
against,
sideline there.
it was
Yeah, it was a sideline in here. Sideline pick.
Yep. No, it was down by the goal line actually. Mm-hmm. So yeah, he does have one. I take that back. All right.
You guys don't know anything.
Yeah.
You guys gonna watch the game?
Yeah.
Shit.
Rank amateurs stick to Chinese buffets.
You say Chinese buffet?
Hey, it's my eat day. I can go have Chinese.
Hey, there you go.
Chinese buffet critique
Express.
coming up later. All right. Anyway, anything more on the defense you want to cover, or
No.
all right? So now we'll move into the special teams aspect.
Oh,
What?
that defensive line starting to look pretty good. And some spots are getting pretty splashy. You know, there's times where I see this defensive line just look unstoppable. And I wonder why it's so far in between that I see that. I would like to see that more often. I don't know. We get these good defensive lines and they just come in and they're always so underwhelming when the year actually starts.
Well, I mean, it helps a lot. I mean, Hunter and Griffin are looking like the Hunter and Griffin, from a couple of years ago when they were playing together.
I am really happy with what I'm seeing out of Griff.
Yeah, of course.
I'm pleased that we brought him back and that he's performing at that level. But his first few years in the league too, he was just doing spot duty.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's not that war. So
no, and then of course, after the game, Zimmer comes out and said, "Oh, we're playing Everson too much." He was probably your best defensive player today, and you're bitching that you played him too much.
yeah,
Whatever, dude.
yeah, whatever, Zim.
Yeah. So anyway,
Okay, yeah, we're
on
ready
to the special teams.
All right.
Greg Joseph, 4 for 5 on field goals. He had a couple of nice boots from over 50, including
got this special
including
teams
the game winner.
looking formidable.
Yeah. Josh Berry, again, another really good day punting. 3 punts, 50-yard average with a long of 55. So, I mean, another good day by him. The only real gripe I have about this Ficken special teams is our return game. What the hell was Dede Westbrook doing on that one punt where he's standing there?
He was drunk.
The ball lands behind him and down at the 5-yard line.
Fox continues to boom it. Oh, holy cow. Dede Westbrook watches it go over his head and inside the 5 where it is down.
He's lucky that didn't touch him, and then they recovered that shit.
Yeah. I mean, he looks like that. Look, he looked up like that one, doofus meme you see out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Westbrook has been really, really, not good.
No,
year.
I
had high hopes for him coming in.
Yeah, he was supposed to be a punt return specialist, and he's done more in the passing game than he has as a punt returner because he's got 2 or 3 catches now, I think. But
2 or 3 catches through fucking 5 weeks.
Well, I mean,
I know.
He's on.
Thank God Osborne's Renaissance man's come around.
Yeah,
but the Dede Westbrook experiment has been so far in my book.
Yeah, I wouldn't hurt my feelings. I mean, to see if we could look at.
It's a long season, so we'll see how it goes. But up to the week 5 so far, on the Westbrook experiment,
right?
I shouldn't get excited to see Abdullah returning kick returns because he's our best option.
Well, I'm still waiting for
Kenny.
Obi-Wan Kenobi to come back here because I mean he's off the IR.
Better ease him in though, Rhino. Gotta ease
yeah,
him in.
yeah, just like we had to ease in Darisaw, you know, even though, and this is a good segue into the coaching.
Good.
You know, one of the things Zimmer was talking about in his press conference when they were asked about, you know, why Darisaw didn't play more.
Did that maybe play a role in the rotation?
No, he's practiced 12 times. I mean, you know, he's still got a ways to go. He's still got a ways to go. So we're just trying to break him in easy. It's got nothing to do really with conditioning now. It's about practice time.
Because I'm a fucking idiot.
Because he's got a long ways to go and we need to ease him in. We have video again this
you don't fucking ease your first round left tackle into a game.
No, we have video again. When Darisaw finally came in the second quarter, he got brushed on the like his second snap or whatever, but didn't give up a sack, didn't give up any might have gave up one or two pressures is it. Played pretty well. But then when we came back out in the second half, guess who was there again? And the very first freaking time Kirk dropped back to pass, or Rashad Hill got his ass trucked and dumped on his ass.
Anzalone, two guys. He's been so animated on the sideline with this D.
Meanwhile, Cousins gets sacked.
Fucking alternate snaps between left tackles. You just don't. What, you know, somebody gets hot and then you're going to take them out.
Yeah. And I'm going to have a gripe with, you know, we usually say we use, you know, Pro Football Focus is about the only way you can, other than the eye test, ranking offensive linemen.
Tool for offensive and defensive linemen.
But they had Darisaw and Hill both are right around 55, which the eye test doesn't show that. I mean, when Darisaw was in there, I was watching him specifically just to see how he did. And he played light years better than Hill did, I think. But
how do you
be that as it may?
You can fucking ease him in. God, stupid.
Mm-hmm. Then, and here again, I don't want to do a Zimmer rant this week because we did plenty of it in the last two, but there are a few things that I want to mention here. So we'll try not to go down that rabbit hole, but one of the first ones that is really grinds my gears on this was,
you know what really grinds my gears?
He was asked about the 2-minute drive again at the end of the first half.
Why should I have to explain this every fucking time?
Yeah, it was like, well, the plan was to run the ball on the first play and then see where we're at from there.
With the series before halftime, was it just a matter of wanting to run the clock out there because you were getting the ball back?
Well, I shouldn't have to explain all this to you, but the plan was if you know, we've screwed up a couple plays in the end of the first half this year, right? Because we ran out of bounds, we did some things. So the plan was to run the ball the first play, see how much yards we get, and then go from there. If we get a first down, then we get on the ball and we move. But we got like no yards, so that was that.
Why not pass the fucking ball on the first play? See if we get some yards.
Yeah, but that's what that's what he said after we didn't get any yards on the first play. Then we just figured we would run out. He basically admitted right there that he coaches scared, which is something we've all said for how long now.
Or, you know, conservative at least.
But that's coaching scared because he added on to it. You know, we had a couple bad plays in the 2-minute drives, a couple, you know, in the last few weeks, we had a fumble, we had this, we had that. Mike, the fans and everybody are going to cut you a lot more slack if you go for it in that 2-minute drive and make a mistake than if you just sit on your ass like you normally do. You're coaching scared and you're coaching not to lose. You're not coaching to win.
Your first thought there when you get the ball in that situation should be, let's try and get some points.
Well, the final drive of the game where we went and kicked the game-winning field goal is a prime example. Same basic scenario that we were in the first half. About the same time, we had at first half, we had 2 timeouts in our pocket.
And it should be easier because our backs aren't against the wall in that situation.
Right. I mean, you watch anybody else, even the Monday night game, the Colts. Carson Wentz took the Colts and marched them down under a minute and got points at the end of the first half. So Zim, it can be done.
You should know this, Zim. How long have you been in the league, man?
No, but he's just, he's at his point where if I'm going down, I'm going down, doing things my way. And that's basically what it is.
Yep.
Then he was asked another question, about, concerned about being overly conservative on the play calling and all this other stuff. He had the balls to answer back. Well, I think we were only too conservative on one drive.
Do you feel overall you were too conservative on offense, or you just think it was that one series you won?
No, just that one series.
Which one? The entire second half up until that drive that Kirk took us down to get the game-winning field goal was too conservative. It's what you do every week. We get a little bit of a lead or we get it close.
We can never have two nice things that, when it comes to defense or offense. We can only have a really good offense and a somewhat okay defense, or a really good defense and nobody knows what they're doing on offense.
Right. But I mean, only too conservative on one drive. We're so conservative on offense in the second half. We make the Amish look progressive. You're gonna see somebody with the button-up shirt and a faux hawk before you see Mike Zimmer going for the frickin' death punch on one of these teams. He would rather lose the game like we did last week to Cleveland 14-7 than win it 38-30.
And you know what? Last week, I would rather lose to Cleveland by 30 than get beat like we did.
Yeah, absolutely. But anyway, like I said, I don't want to go down the Zimmer rabbit hole here. So we'll cut it off here before I get too fired up. But
well, the way it's going, we might end up going down that rabbit hole again later on in this season.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. And we'll save some of that. One other quick thing, the runs on second and long again and again and again and again.
It's comical at this point.
Seriously. Yeah, it's like a 4-year-old. It's like Matt, nice segue there. It's like a 4-year-old playing Madden. Oh crap! I threw the ball and it was incomplete on the first play. Oh, we're going to run the ball here and try to get some yards to make it closer.
Yep.
Rinse, lather, repeat. But anyway,
it's so bad.
Yeah.
And is it Cubes being held back by Zim?
I think it is. I mean, I'm not saying that Clint is the next Sean McVay or Kyle Shanahan or somebody like that. It'd be nice if he was, but know good and well the mandate comes down from Zimmer once he gets to a point where he thinks his defense. This team should be known for its offense. That's where we have all the weapons, and that's where we can be the most powerful.
This team should be really good all together. This should just be a really good team.
Right, but Zimmer can't handle having the offense be what this team is known for, because he's a defensive coach, and his mantra, his entire coaching career, I build defense, and we win with defense. Well, you're not doing a very good job of it, Mike. And if it wasn't for Kirk and
there's defensive coaches out there that have really good offenses too.
Sean McDermott in Buffalo. McDermott is a defensive coach, and they're putting 40 points up a game. Of course, we were told that Zimmer can put up 40 points whenever he wants to, but
Tomlin back in his heyday, put out some good offenses. Defensive coordinators that that get head coaching jobs, sometimes they could put out good offenses too.
Mm-hmm. And if Zimmer would unleash the offense and let it do its thing, we'd be a playoff team.
If Zim would be the field general at coach and let his coordinators do their jobs, this team could be light years ahead of where it's at.
Oh, absolutely. And we said it last week, the coaching's holding this team back, and I still firmly believe that. We know after that shit show we saw against Detroit where we had no business winning that game.
Zim needs to give the keys to that offense to either Kirk and Kubiak and just let it be. Let them burn or let them thrive. So,
but I think we'll move on here because
Yeah.
we're starting to go down that hole, and we're gonna shut the lid back and crank it shut.
We got time constraints here, folks.
Yep. Anyway, so with that, we'll move on to our
Producer
weekly.
saying reel it in.
Yep. With that, we're going to move on to our weekly awards segment, where we celebrate both the good and the bad. And we start off with the good and our badass of the week.
Who is that guy? Whoever he is one tough badass.
So for my badass of the week, I'm going for the guy that was pretty much unstoppable the first half, and then they just forgot about him. Oh, they were playing too high safety, so we couldn't do anything about. No, he was beating
match, man.
He was beating coverage and everything else. Of course, I'm talking about Justin Jefferson. He's like I said,
rated receiver in the league right now.
Yeah, he had over 100 yards receiving in the first half, and he had 2 catches for 20 yards in the second half. But that's not on Jefferson. That's on what we mentioned before. But
whoever, maybe Zim or Cubes. Anyways.
Yeah, but I'm going to give Jefferson my badass this week.
I'm going to follow you with that as well. With what we got on offense here and with what the plays that we've seen lately, the pickings and choosings are really slim. You go Jefferson here, you go Kirk, but as a whole, and who looks the best as far as this last week goes, you got to go with Jefferson.
Yeah.
That's where I was going to go to.
Yeah. And I'll give an honorable mention to Greg Joseph because, after he blew that kick against Arizona,
Joseph, I really do.
He came back, he came up short on that 149 yarder after he'd been booting 50 plus yarders, but made the kick when it counted and got us
the 49 yarder was kind of mind boggling, but
it almost looked like it was, it had plenty of air, and then all of a sudden it hit an invisible wall and dropped.
The weighted balls they're talking about.
Well, the doors were open in the dome. Maybe there was a gust of wind that came in and blew backwards.
Yeah. I like Greg. I like how he is able to overcome his adversity. He doesn't just crumble.
Mm-hmm.
He misses one. Oh, I'm going to miss every fucking kick for the rest of the game. No,
yeah.
He goes out there wanting to nail every single one. I could tell by this is body language. He isn't kicking scared.
Yeah.
So, that's good to see too.
Could have been that game between the Bengals and that team from Wisconsin where they missed 35 kicks during the game or whatever it was there. But
that was horrible. Fucking Crosby and his gray hair. He's been around since fucking mid 2000s. I think he took over after Longwell.
Yeah, he did. So
Jesus, man.
Anyway, we'll move on. Now we'll go to the darker side of things, I guess, and what we call our Red Foreman Award of the week.
Son, you don't have bad luck. The reason that bad things happen to you is because you're a dumbass.
All right. For my Red Foreman, I think this one's pretty obvious.
I got somebody different for this one.
Okay, I'm going with Rashad Breeland because, just from that whole taunting the fans thing and then the tweeting and stuff after the game and this, that, and everything else. Dude,
I don't know how it benefits him in any way.
It doesn't.
And then the fact that the coach is, basically slapping him on the wrist for it or saying, oh, well,
yeah,
or trying to cover up for him.
He's not endearing himself to the fan base at all, like I mentioned before.
I've heard so many fans throughout this week say that he needs to get cut.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly.
No, you can't say cut because I made a comment that his ass should be cut on Facebook, right. And I got reprimanded for it. Facebook hauled me into jail and made me explain myself.
USA.
Yeah. No, I'm not advocating for someone to physically go cut Rashad Breeland. I'm advocating for him to be released from his position with the team. So
Facebook jail.
Yeah. So Zuckerberg, just so you're aware, that's what I meant.
Got any contraband on you, boy?
No. No, sir, I do not. All right. Who's your badass?
My dumbass would be
dumbass. Yeah. Sorry.
Chris Herndon, man. For real. Those 2 penalties for, drive killers.
Well, yeah, that one huge play to Thielen got called back because of the one, and I forget what the other wasn't the other one would throw to Conklin or whatever, I think, wasn't it? Or,
yeah. Yep. And both boneheaded plays. And for us to be giving up draft picks and for him to be coming in and not getting his name called or making plays, and then when he does get his name called, it's for penalties. Come on.
Well,
Seriously.
and as an addendum to that, you could almost give the award to Rick Spielman too, because it was him again with a boneheaded panic move to bring Herndon in.
Right.
You know, Smith goes down. Oh, we couldn't get Dallas Goddard. Let's go grab this
Right.
guy.
And we
over
could
here
have
from the-
given one of our guys that we had brought in from the draft or from UDFA a chance, but we felt the need to go out and fucking get somebody that has done nothing for the first 5 weeks of the season.
You could have grabbed somebody off the street and not given up a 4th round pick for it. I got in the same.
You could let Davidson fly. I mean, honestly, why not?
Yeah, he couldn't have done any worse. But anyway,
I don't get it. Sometimes
I don't either.
These impulse things. It's what it is. He's like, oh shit. Somebody goes, well, we better go figure something out. We don't have anybody here that could do the job, so let's go to somebody else. Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
that's why you have a roster.
Right, but there's a history of these panic moves of this organization. When Teddy stepped on that IED on the practice field and blew up his knee, we panicked and went and got Bradford. I
like that Bradford grab, but it was, I mean, what do you do with that? What do you do in that spot?
I mean, we should have had a backup plan other than Sean Hill on the roster is what we should have had.
Yeah, you're right. But that's been the case for a long time as far as backup quarterbacks.
But that's what I'm talking about as far as these panic moves that Spielman tends to make. It's because we've done a poor job of having a backup plan in place for critical positions.
Front-loaded contracts has a lot to do with that too.
Yep. But anyway, we'll move on here because we're
right. We could be here all day talking about all sorts of stuff.
Pull it back on the road. So with that, we're going to move on to the fantasy football challenge. Yeah. First off, we will start between Lance and I. And before Monday night, I was running away with this pretty good. But thanks to a pretty nice game by Hollywood Brown on Monday night, Lance made it respectable, but I still won 140.95 to 119.85 for Lance.
3-2 for you and 2-3 for me.
Which, nice segue, rolls right into the head-to-head that we have with the Vikings Report with Drew and Ted that we're also doing. We did to those guys this week what the Vikings should have done to Detroit.
Yeah.
They
got their tits licked.
We stomped a mud hole in their asses and walked it dry, as the great Stone Cold Steve Austin once said.
Oh, hell yeah.
The points there, Vikings Uncensored, 260.8. Vikings Report with Drew and Ted, 142.35.
120 point spanking there.
So we are now up 3 games to 2 on those guys, but long season ahead.
Right.
We're gonna take this win and we're gonna brag about it since we did such a nice job whooping you guys' ass this week. But I'm not gonna get cocky and declare a 17-game winning streak like Ted did a couple weeks ago, and they haven't won since. But so we'll have our picks and stuff for this week coming up here in a little bit, and we'll see how this weekend goes. With that, we're going to roll into another one of our classic beer commercials. So you guys sit back, crack one open, check this out, and we'll be back in a minute.
Okay, now what? Rock, paper, scissors for it? Okay, that's fair. On 3? Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
I threw paper.
I threw a rock.
Refreshingly smooth Bud Light. Always worth it.
Low 5.
All righty, we are back. And now, as we always say,
back.
We are done looking back. Time to look forward to this week's matchup as the Vikings travel to visit the Carolina Panthers. What are you seeing out of this one, Lance?
Winnable. It really is. Darnold is known to make mistakes. He will throw up a couple of wobblers, a couple of give-me's. The way I look at Darnold is he's like a better version of Baker Mayfield because he will take off too if he has to. He's a little bit more accurate with his throws than Mayfield is. He's able to throw it in tighter windows, in my opinion, at this point in their games.
He's got less gunslinger to him than Mayfield does, so.
Yeah, he's a little bit, yeah. But he will throw picks.
Mm-hmm.
He will make mistakes. But he can carve you up too if he's having a good day. So
I mean, he looked really good the first 3 weeks of the season. Now the last 2 weeks,
and then last week he looked like complete shit. So
yeah, so I mean, they've come back down to earth now. Is that 3-2 record an anomaly because the first couple of games I think they played Houston and they played the Jets and
right? This game is really honestly it's winnable.
It
would be nice to come out and get this big win before the bye. Going to the bye with a good taste in our mouth where we can get our shit together and come out and start surprising people after the bye.
Well, especially
I'm all about winning.
Yeah. With that gauntlet of games we've got after the bye, this one is critical if you have any hopes at all for this season.
According to win-loss records, right now we have the most difficult schedule in the league remaining.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot can change with the NFL. A team can go from being really good to being, not so good too. So whereas in us, if we can get our shit together and changes can be made, and we'll see, we have the right players and, we have the right players here to be really good. Yeah. That's just it. And it's not too late yet.
Right. Now, one thing that might make this game a little more difficult and could possibly be part of the reason why Carolina has not looked very good the last couple of games is Christian McCaffrey has been out. But
Hubbard's not bad though either.
No, Chuba Hubbard has done okay, but he's no Christian McCaffrey.
That's true.
And McCaffrey is, at least as of Monday and early Tuesday morning, when I've looked, McCaffrey is on track to potentially play again this week. So
I could see it.
And the way Hill and Chubb tore us apart when we played Cleveland, if McCaffrey's playing and at even close to 100%, he's going to pose a real problem for us, I'm afraid.
Right. That Carolina defense is right about the middle of the pack.
They're sneaky good though. I mean,
the
one thing I saw, Carolina's defense is only allowing 25.4% success rate on third down conversions.
That's good.
And look at how many times we put ourselves in a third and long situation. So that doesn't bode well for us.
Right.
We're going to have to, and here again, beating this drum that we shouldn't have to, like Zimmer said in his press conference, I shouldn't have to explain this to everybody, but we're going to have to be more aggressive on first and second down to not put us in third and long situations this week.
The play calling is going to be key here for sure. Aggressive play calling is what a lot of us would like to see.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see what happens. I mean, is Cook going to be going?
Sounds
like
do
you rest him?
Sounds like he is. He's also probably on track to play this week. Now
he'll be on a pitch count, I believe.
If he's not 100%, then I don't think I play him.
No, I wouldn't even play him if he's not 100%. Let the guy get healthy. We need him down the stretch.
Yep. But now talking about the running, if we switch over to our run defense, of course, we're going to be without Michael Pierce again this week, I believe. And if McCaffrey is back, and as you mentioned, Chuba Hubbard, he had over 100 yards against Philadelphia last week. So there again, we have another one of those two-headed monsters that, like when we played Cleveland, put up 184 yards on the ground. But of course, Zimmer wasn't concerned with that because we're just worried about the stats, and he's actually seeing how things look and how they are. So, I mean, that's a concern. As you mentioned, I think the biggest thing is going to be our offensive play calling. Are they going to keep the training wheels on? Are we going to get up to a 17-10 lead nearing the end of the first half and then go into
let Clint dictate his own path?
Yeah.
As far as is he gonna sink or is he gonna float?
We keep asking this question, but we know what the answer should be, but we also know that the answer is going to be no. Zimmer's going to do Zimmer stuff Zimmer's way, and screw all the rest.
As long
of
as
it.
he's got that HC,
he shouldn't have to
Yeah.
explain himself. So, but that's what I'm afraid of. Like I said, we're going to get up like 17-10 in the first half, and then we're going to go to that Amish offense the second half and run, pass, punt, run, pass, punt. And if we do that, I think we're going to be in trouble.
need to mix it up,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know, man. Some of these play actions that get called, they're getting called at the wrong times too. I mean, you got to be able to.
We're barely running play action. I mean,
Right.
I think last year we were like, the last 2 years, with Stefanski and Gary, we were running play action on like 28% of the passes. It's down to like 12 or 14% now.
Yep.
Which,
and a lot of the times it's predictable.
Yeah, well, but that's where Kirk operates best, is out of play action.
Exactly.
He's one of the best play action quarterbacks in the league.
Yep.
So we
Get
need
him out
to
in a bootleg on a play action or something like that.
Yeah, so we need to do more of that, and that's on Clint, because those are plays that Clint's calling.
Right.
But anyway, you got anything else on this game before we move into our next segment?
No, it's going to be coming on to play. It's going to be coming on to basic play calling, like we've just discussed.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to dictate who wins the game.
Yeah.
So
with that, we're going to roll into our picks and prognostications section, and we will start off with the game itself this weekend. What do you got here?
Well, I think if we can force Darnold into some mistakes, if McCaffrey's coming back, figure out a way to slow him down and mix up the play calling and offense, we're going to walk away with the win. I'm going to take the Vikings with a win. I'm thinking I'm going to go 24-14-ish, 10-point spread probably-ish, hopefully.
Okay.
Hopefully we're not looking at another close barn burner again, but.
Well, for me, this can pivot one of two ways. That jubilation and everybody being fired up over beating the hapless Detroit Lions last week, either it's going to propel these guys into play, and we could go in here and we could shut everything down and we could walk out with a comfortable win.
Right.
Or we're going to, the coaching is going to continue to be our Achilles heel on all this stuff. And we're going to have another game like we had against Cleveland, like we had against Detroit. And unfortunately, I have a bad feeling that that's what we're going to see. So it's going to be a tight game again. It's going to be under a 1-score game, I think. I know I caught some heat last week saying Detroit was going to be less than a 1-score game, but
hey, you called it like you hey, honest to yourself for sure.
And I said it was going to come down to a lot. I wouldn't surprise me to see it go one way or the other with a last second field goal. Well, I had my Nostradamus hat on last week. So, but again, I don't like going against my gut because when I do, I'm usually wrong. But I think we may very well lose this game.
Okay, gonna go Carolina.
Yeah. Again, it's going to be like a field goal thing or something. One play down at the very end, it's going to swing it one way or the other.
Those are always the hardest too. It's those games that you wish you would just get your ass whipped instead of fucking losing by 2 or 3 points.
Yeah, but I mean, every game we've played so far has been this way.
They've all been close.
There's no reason to think this game is going to be any different. And if McCaffrey is back and at 100%, and like we talked about Chuba Hubbard and stuff, I can easily see Carolina running for 150 plus yards against us again.
And they have a couple decent wideouts too.
Yeah, you got DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. Yeah. And then again, that third down percentage thing we talked about a little bit ago, we continuously put ourselves in those positions, and that's a recipe for failure against this defense. So I'm going to say, it's going to be within a 1-score game. It's probably going to be a 24-20, 24-21, somewhere in that range. But I'm afraid I have no confidence in this It's not that I don't have
It's
confidence
hard.
in the team.
It's hard to have that confidence in this team right now.
But it's not that I don't have confidence in the team. I have zero confidence in the coaching staff to be able to
Right.
get us there.
Right. There you go.
So with that, let's move on and get our fantasy picks of the week in here next. After Lance gets the fly out of his face.
Right, that fucking thing.
So again, for anybody who's new to this, not only are we doing a fantasy challenge between Lance and I, we're also doing it against our buddies over at the Vikings Report. We pick one quarterback, one running back, 2 wide receivers, and a tight end every week, with the 2 caveats being can't pick anybody from the Thursday night game, being that game will already have happened by the time you see our shows on Friday. And once you've used a player, you can't use him again. So
right. I'm gonna need to list those players sometime soon here.
Yeah, I can shoot you
What?
over.
You have been keeping track of your player?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Way to be prepared for the show, Lance. That's Mike Zimmer level co-hosting right there. All right. So who do you got for your quarterback this week?
I am going to go with Herbert versus the Raisins.
The Raisins.
The Ravens.
The Baltimore Raisins.
Right. Herbert versus the Ravens.
Okay. Well, to counteract that, I'm taking Lamar Jackson versus the Chargers.
The Chargers.
I've never been a big Lamar Jackson fan. I've never been.
No.
But I watched him play on Monday. That guy is ridiculous.
He can be.
He can be. He can also be
either
shut
on
down.
or he's off for me.
Yep.
in my
And
opinion.
Chargers defense could be the one to shut him down, but I'm going to take him this week just because. Then running back, I'm going to take Aaron Jones against the Bears.
Okay.
I hate taking Packers players, but
I know, but
I want to keep this winning streak going. So
exactly.
And between Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones, that's been basically the Packers offense all year.
Yeah,
so.
it really has.
What do you got?
I got Najee Harris versus the Shithawks.
The Rainy City Bitch Pigeons.
Yep.
All right. Who you got for your first wide receiver?
I'm going to go with Cooper Kupp versus the Giants.
Okay. My first one, I'm going to take Cortland Sutton versus the Raiders.
I've been thinking about going with Cortland here the last couple of weeks, but I just haven't.
He's been Teddy's primary. He's been Teddy's primary target over there.
Right.
I mean, he was miss off in the week that Drew Lock was playing when Teddy had his concussion issue. But I'm going with Sutton for the first one. Who you got for second wide receiver now? I'm going to take Chase Claypool against the Sea Pigeons. Juju Smith-Schuster could be out this week. You know, he got hurt last week. So Claypool's going to, him and Deontay
I like
Johnson.
Claypool a lot. I wish we would have got our hands on him. I liked him coming out of college.
Yep.
Who
do you
all
got?
right, my second receiver, Jamar Chase versus Detroit.
Okay, good pick. All right, then how about tight end?
Hunter Henry versus Dallas.
Okay. That would be with the New England Patriots now. He was with Tennessee forever. Now he's with he was with San Diego.
Atlanta.
He used to play for the Chargers.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't matter. He's
never played for the Vikings, so
no, it doesn't matter. And he's playing for the Patriots now. So
guys don't know shit.
You don't know. You don't know shit. I knew who he played for. All right.
Oh, man.
My tight end, I'm taking Dawson Knox with Buffalo versus the Titans.
I thought about going Knox too. Yeah.
He's had a lot. Been a pretty good red zone threat for him, so hopefully he can get me a couple of touchdowns and we can continue on our winning ways here. Okay, with that, that's about all we've got for this week. Again, big thanks to Boulder Tap House for being with us again. Big thanks to everybody who comes and watches us every week, interacts with us on the live chat that we do on YouTube when we do the premieres on Friday. If you like what you're seeing, please click that subscribe button down below. Helps us out a ton. Like the videos. That also helps us out. Builds the YouTube metrics. We're getting ever closer to 200 subscribers. So
We're sitting at 185 this morning.
I believe so. So the more we get subscribing, once we hit over 200, then we're going to start another contest. We've got some ideas in the mix here for what that's going to be, but you guys won't find out until we get that 200 subscriber mark. So tell your friends, tell your friends' friends, tell your mom, tell your dad, tell whoever wants to watch that to come like and subscribe the channel, and then you'll see what we're going to give away next.
That's right.
Again, catch us on all the audio platforms for the audio cast. That's really been taken off for us. Thank you to everybody that's listening over on the audio side. Again, Facebook now has audio podcasts on there. So if you want to listen to us, you can go on our Facebook page, go to the podcast tab, and it has all the audio versions listed on there too. All 30 episodes now will be on there. So, but with that, why don't you take us out of here, Lance?
Episode 30. Man, my golden birthday was the 30th of May when I was 30 years old.
My golden birthday was when I was 3.
Oh man, lucky you, huh?
Yeah, so I didn't get to celebrate my golden birthday. I did, but it was with cake and party hats and a bunch of other little kids. Little kids running around.
Too. I don't really know if this team knows who they are yet. I mean, the blueprint is there. I don't know who this team is right now. I know what it could be, but as of right now, it's not there. Like I said, the blueprint's there. Let's get this shit together. Let's show the world what we can do, and let's start winning, starting at Carolina this weekend. And with that being said, thank you all for coming. We appreciate every single one of you viewers out there. And if you haven't, don't forget to subscribe because it helps us out a lot. And I like seeing those numbers go up. So we'll see you next week, fellas and ladies and gents and sons and daughters and criminals.
We'll see you guys. Have a good weekend. All right, we're clear.